and this, there's some of the stuff that is really nicely shown here. There's a couple nerves that are not shown, but here we can see this is the greater occipital nerve.
He's pointing to the back of the head.
Yes.
Right?
So, and that nerve comes from it's called C2, which is one of the branches of the spinal cord, and it goes through several different muscles, including the trapezius muscles, which, as we know, when we're stressed, a lot of people hold their stress in their neck and shoulders, and this nerve can be compressed by the trapezius, as well as what's called the spinous capitis, which is a deeper muscle and helps with head stability. And it can also be compressed by the occipital arteries, which are often kind of up here and now I'm pointing to the higher portion of the back of the head, and they can have arteries that cross and cause problems.
Right, so if you feel your neck and you go up to where the skull, you can start to feel the skull, that's the area that he's pointing at right
like
now.
where your spine kind of meets up with your head.
Yeah,
exactly.
But it makes sense why motion would be such a trigger then for people, because some of those muscles you mentioned are really key in kind of keeping our head stable.
Yeah.
Like keeping our horizon where it is. So like.
And interestingly, a lot of patients who have this problem, and when we're dealing with these nerves, we call it's called occipital neuralgia. So neuralgia is a inflammation of the nerve. Occipital is occipital area or occipital nerves. Excuse me. A lot of these patients have had either a recent or distant history of whiplash, because what's happened is you get a whiplash injury and then scarring down of the muscles which were torn during the whiplash injury, and then all of that causes tightness around these nerves. So a lot of patients that I'll talk to who've had this surgery, who are considering this surgery, I'll ask, did you ever have a car accident? I'll go, I forgot about this, but back in so-and-so, I did get into a car accident. When did your headache start? About that time, right? And so it's interesting to see that a lot of these can be post-traumatic issues. But back to these nerves, there's also here a third occipital nerve. There are three occipital nerves, and the third occipital nerve is in the same general area, just a little further down on the neck, and it innervates a much smaller area, but can also be a trigger.
So when you say a third nerve, are they branches or just three different distinct nerves?
There's three distinct different nerves,
Got
but
it.
all in
Three
the
different
occipital
spinal nerves.
region,
Right.
and therefore occipital nerves. The lesser occipital nerve actually is not shown here, but it's down in the lower lateral neck, comes out around what's called the sternocleidomastoid muscle, which is another neck stabilizer and helps with turning of the neck. And for example, for me, that's one of my triggers. So when I have a really significant headache, I'm just rubbing right on the side of my neck. And, before I knew what I was doing, I was
Relaxing.
I was trying to massage those areas to try and relax the muscles. And then when I learned, I progressed through plastic surgery and learned about this, my gosh, it all makes sense.